a little bit this morning, and taking a little bit of different aspect of it. So let me share my screen. Okay. Let me get this and play from the start. Okay. Let me do this. All right, guys, the habits of health overview, choosing your health path. So the first thing that I want to mention to you guys, which you know, but it is a choice, right? No one has their hand around our neck saying choose your health path. So remember, it is a choice. You can empower yourself to choose your health path, right? Nobody else is choosing that for us. Okay, let me make sure that I didn't get out of, I'm going to stay here for a minute. Okay, so basically we're going to discover some habits of health this morning, but understanding, you guys, that our bodies really, when you think about it, for the most part, right, we were born in a pretty pristine, a pretty perfect condition, right? And we know there's exceptions to that, but we were, once we leave the womb though, our lives can take a slightly different path, right? Depending on what happens in our lives, right? Our stories build us. But the good news is that we can fight entropy. We can make different choices. So how about today, we take a second here and we kick entropy, that gradual decline into disorder, that's a generalized term, so it can refer to health or anything else, but that gradual decline into disorder, how about if we kick that in the face? And let's look at what the majority usually does, but then let's set a goal. Let's not be in the majority. Let's be in the minority, right? So here we go. All right, the majority, most people, right? Fine, I'm gonna move Suzette over here. If you were in my little picture. Most people find themselves from non-sickness and in time to sickness and disease, right? Lots of factors there, lots of things going on. I'm not telling you right now, talking to you guys, telling you that just because you have a sickness or you have something, right, going on chronically, that it's your fault, right? There are a lot of factors. I'm a nurse. I know there are a lot of factors that go into that, but we're talking in generality here today. So most people find themselves from non-sickness and in time to sickness and disease. Really think about it. It's accelerated by our modern lifestyle. You look at different countries, you look at our accessibility to anything that we want to eat, right? Anything we want to do, anything we want to see, anything we listen to. I mean, our modern lifestyle, we need to make a lot of choices. I'm just going to put that out there. The decline is not inevitable, but life is not a reality show. You guys, it's real, and it's the only life we get. So what are you waiting for? Healthcare providers, drug companies, weight loss gurus? It's not going to work. If we don't change our mindsets, if we don't make the choice to transform from the inside out, it's not going to work. We have friends, they may be on here, that have had major surgeries for weight loss. And I'm not saying that wasn't successful to some extent, but I know that every one of my friends that have had that either got on this program to lose that last 20 to 50 pounds, but the biggest thing, changing how they think about food. Because if you don't change something from the inside out, our willpower isn't very dependable. I'm just going to say that. So it starts in that mindset. Okay. Let me just do this. Your life is not a spectator sport. We need to create focus and expend energy to create stability, structure, and simplicity. Remember, we are fighting entropy. So what's the current direction? These are just questions to ask yourself. What's the current direction? Whoops, I tried to let that person in. I'll let Suzette do that. What's the current direction that we're going? Okay, ask yourself, what is my current direction? Is it forward? Is it backward? Am I just stuck? Is my health improving every day? Okay. Jimmy started swimming again. Lauren and her mama are going to run half marathons. Are you doing something to improve your health every day? Are your daily habits creating greater health and vibrancy of draining your battery and putting you on an accelerating path toward disease? Okay, we don't want that. And are you already in a sick or not already? Are you in a sick? Are you in a non-sick state? So hopefully everyone on here can say that they're in a non-sick state or well on their way to that. And this, you guys, none of this is talking about perfection. None of it at all. Okay, none of us will ever reach self-actualization, perfection. We won't reach it, right? Until that day when we're made perfect again, we will not reach perfection. But could we go in the current good direction? Denise and her coach, number one, so cool that they took a road trip together, but they're choosing health together. They're making something that gets them more toward their goals. All right, it's never, ever too late, right? Chronic pain, illness, all of that stuff there, sickness, it's never, ever too late. So it doesn't matter if you had a bad week. It doesn't matter if you blew last week. It's never too late to jump back on. It's never too late to set another goal for the next week or the next year, right? I turned 59 in very short few days, right? So I'm already thinking about next year, because I know for some of you on here that may not be the biggest thing, but I'm just going to say for me, I want to be healthier at 60 than I was in my 50s. Okay. So the goal to remember, to be much more than non-sick, it is to be healthy and to thrive in all areas of your life. And your daily habits, your habits of health, right, will determine that direction. All right. I want to talk for a second about this, because this I found so interesting. But there was a healthy living study done. Okay, so I'll just read that. Ty put it up there. But the year after Dr. A's first edition of Habits of Health came out, they did a key study in a medical magazine. Okay, they evaluated over 25,000 people, and they concluded that adhering to 4 simple lifestyle factors, now this is where it really blew me away. You reduce your risk of developing major chronic disease, not by 50%, by 80%. 80. Okay, so let's talk about these for a second. These 4 things. Not smoking. Okay, if you're a smoker, I've never smoked, but as a nurse, I know that's a horrible addiction to break. However, what it does in your body, it's never too late to stop. That's all I'm going to say. A BMI less than 30, 3 to 5 hours of physical activity per week. It's not saying 3 to 5 hours of exercise per week. Motion, moving around. Can you stand and sit at your work? Can you walk around outside at work? Motion, 3 to 5 hours. And if you think about that in a week, that's definitely not even an hour a day, right? So that's physical activity per week. And then adhering to good dietary principles, fruits and veggies, whole grains, less red meat, right? More white meat. And I'm not saying you can't have red meat. I'm just saying less red meat. And I know, some of you you're on the 5 and 1 here, many of you, and you're saying we can't even have fruit or whole grains. Correct. So don't think that I'm saying that you can right now, but you will, right? You will. Just remember, fruits are fructose. They're high in fruit sugar. They spike your blood sugar. You're in fat burn. That's why you can't have those. All right. Whole grains, same type of thing, high in carbohydrates. Okay. So the goal of Habits to Health is to cover all areas necessary to allow you to improve and eventually thrive, not just survive, you guys, thrive in life. The approach is holistic to health and well-being, which gives you the freedom to pick and choose where you want to begin and what you want to focus on. So there's some key things in there. The first thing that I want to point out to you is to improve. We're all improving, right? But eventually thrive. Thrive's a good word. We don't want to just survive, we want to thrive. The approach is holistic. As a nurse, I love that word, right? Because we want to treat the whole patient, spiritual, physical, emotional, physical, mental. We want to improve the whole patient. We want to fix all of that stuff. But our approach is holistic, right? We've got that life book. And if you guys don't have the life book, that's okay. But you should have your Elements of Health on YouTube videos from your health coach. So if you don't, make sure you reach out. But then it gives you and of course, as a teacher, I put it all in capitals, freedom to pick and choose. So you have the freedom. Nobody, again, is making you do this. And if you really think about that, and no pun intended, but it really does free you up, right? I mean, Optavia, your health coach, isn't there going, you will do this. We want you to do it. We want to do it. Your doctor may want you to do it. Your family member may want you to do it. But you have the freedom to pick and choose where you want to begin and what you will focus on. So let's talk about habit of health number 1, the habit of healthy weight management. Okay, over 2/3 begin here. And I bet you if we took a raise of hands, or if you wanted to put in the chat, did you begin here? Did you get on program because you wanted to lose a little bit of weight or a lot of it of weight, right? Over 2/3 start here. We go into fat burn. We recalibrate our bodies. It kind of resets our metabolism, detoxes everything. And then we go into optimize. And the cool thing really though, the fact that you did start here, right? I love it because it really makes the beginning our program makes the beginning very easy to create early success, right? It'll motivate you to discover more ways that you can improve your health. Our fuelings, you guys know, we have a huge variety. They're low glycemic, right? They're portable, they're convenient, they're foolproof. I mean, this was done by physicians and scientists, right? They're nutrient dense. They have a perfect balance of your carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So basically, somebody's done all the hard work for you. So the fact that this has been done for you and you started here creates an optimal avenue to catapult you into other areas and of other habits of health to improve. Okay, so let's look at habit of health number 2, healthy eating and hydration. Okay, so I always tell my clients, we have some ultimate goals of our program: portion control, eating 6 times a day, hydration, and pretty clean eating are ultimate goals for life. So don't think you're going to get off program and go back to I just eat, maybe a little breakfast, then some lunch and some dinner. Your metabolism will drop. Your blood sugar will go up, down, up, down, up, down. So that 6 times a day is key, okay? That portion control, that frequency. And then we'll always have a balance. Are you ever going to eat the piece of, I'm going to say cheesecake because I love cheesecake. Of course you are. You very well may, right? But there's a balance there once you get into that optimizing state. Hydration, water, you guys. I want to just pause here and say a few things about water. So water will keep you from overeating. So sometimes when you feel hungry, and I know you've heard this, you feel hungry, water will keep you from overeating. Drink a bottle of water. Water removes toxins from your system. It prevents dehydration. You guys know that. Water minimizes fatigue, okay? Sometimes when you're just tired mid-afternoon, some of you that work desk jobs, and that mid-afternoon slump where you used to always go get, something high in a Mountain Dew and a candy bar, right? Water alone can minimize fatigue. It helps increase our metabolism. I read an article while prepping for this. It said 40% of Americans drink half the recommended amount of water. So almost half of Americans drink half of what they're supposed to. Remember, you guys, food is fuel. Food isn't our best friend, right? We can still enjoy culture. We can still enjoy community in a way that won't harm us. Because when we change our habits, we have the ability to change our lives as well as others' lives. So I always encourage my clients, when you're doing your lean and green meals, enjoy them, because it's something that maybe that lean and green meal, yes, you may be increasing your calories, but that lean and green meal is those are going to be healthy habits that you want to enjoy. You don't want to have a diet mentality where you just eat the same thing every day because you just want to lose the weight. And then what's going to happen then during maintenance? So think about those kind of things. Habit of health number 3, habits of healthy motion, right? The right amount of physical activity at the right time. So remember, we don't want to, be in a gym rat when you're right in the beginning of the 5 and 1. We want you to focus on motion. Studies are starting to support the need for day-long movement to counteract disease related to sedentary lifestyle, right? Standing, sitting, all of that kind of stuff. 86% of Americans sit all day. Wow, right? I've never had a job where I ever sat all day, because nursing, I was never sitting. Teaching, I couldn't stop moving. So I was always walking around my room. But 86% of Americans sit all day. So let's talk a little bit about what the 6 S's of success related to becoming a perpetual motion machine. So these are kind of just a few things that you can look at and you can think about when you're working and going about your day. Stance. If you sit at a desk, alternate standing and sitting. Stand up, the next hour, sit down. Or every hour, just make sure you stand up, go get a drink, come back and sit down again. Stroll, use your steps, right? Some of you have the opportunity that you could go out and walk during your break or during your lunch if you wanted to do that. Some of you could take stairs instead of elevators. Some of you could park at the end of the parking lot of any store, not just your work, and walk into that store. And then slumba, we'll say instead of Zumba. Dance it out, guys. Turn some music on. And, I don't know about you, but I'm very affected by music. Just ask Matt and Suzette. So, music makes some of you move. It doesn't make some of you never move to it. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is, though, move, right? So if you can turn music on and, get some movement in there and stuff, go ahead and do that. And then I mentioned stairs, and then switch it all up, right? Be doing this stuff all the time. And I'm sure you can think of many other ways as well. Okay, habit of health number 4 is healthy sleep. We don't think about this, right? We don't think about habits of healthy sleep. It's often underestimated, but losing that extra hour decreases well-being, productivity, and our ability to think and focus. I was just telling Matt and Suzette, yesterday, I got up at 4:30 to go to the earliest Pilates class. Why? I don't know, because I had to take a nap later on in the afternoon because I do not do well getting up that early. If I stop moving, I fall asleep. So that being said, though, make sure that you're getting that sleep at night. And then I just wrote sleep app. You guys, there are sleep apps out there that you can put in Okay, because Dr. A recommends 7 to 8 hours a night. Some of you are probably smirking on here going, oh yeah, right. That's in my dreams. But truthfully, for that productivity, for that healthy, that mental clarity, all of that, that's what they recommend, 7 to 8. That's what you would be reading. Okay. But you could definitely have a sleep app that will tell you, okay, if I want 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and this is when I'm getting up the next day, what time do I need to go to bed? And it will tell you if you want, 8 hours, if you want 7 hours, if you want 6 hours, if you want 5 hours. Nevertheless, I'm just going to put this in here. Yes, 7 to 8 hours is ideal, but you're going to have those nights where it's like, nope, it's going to be 5. Well, some of these apps will actually tell you when to go to bed so that at that 5 hours, you wake up not in the middle of that deep sleep. You wake up still feeling refreshed. So that's pretty cool too. And I have one on my phone. And if you ask me at the end, I can look it up and I can't remember what it's called. Okay. Habits of health number 5, healthy mindset, right? Long-term success depends on choosing the best strategic action to support your health, not somebody else's, yours. Understanding your patterns, what your triggers are, okay, what triggers you, gaining self-awareness, being in tune to your own body, your own mind, right? Adopting new behaviors so you no longer have to rely on willpower. Once these new behaviors get far enough into place, it isn't willpower anymore. Okay, it isn't hard to make a choice anymore once you adopt the new behavior. And how do you currently handle your emotions? Are you open to growth? Because really, guys, you need to play above the line. Dr. A talks about stop, challenge, and choose. Okay, right before, and it could be grabbing that piece of cheesecake, but it could be, what's my response going to be? Am I going to get up and go to the gym or Pilates or whatever? Stop, challenge yourself. Is this going to take me closer to my goal, or is it going to keep me from my goal? Right? And then make your choice based on that. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put this in here. It's going to get you out of that constant drama triangle and into that empowerment triangle. You're not going to be fueled by your emotions. You're not going to be fueled by your feelings. You guys, our feelings are fickle. Okay. So if you're feeling a certain way, our feelings are fickle. You have to really challenge that and change over into those positive actions, those positive mindsets. And we all go there at times. We absolutely always do, but the goal is that we're working toward that. And then habits of health number 6. Okay. Habits of healthy surroundings. So I put a lot of stuff on here. The people, places, or things you surround yourself with can enhance or diminish all of the habits of health. The people, places, or things you surround yourself with. Now, I'm not saying move out of your house. So don't get me wrong here. But we can admit that they enhance or they diminish the other habits of health. Don't take advice from someone you wouldn't trade places with. Okay, so if you have Uncle Johnny going, this is the dumbest thing you've ever done, this diet that you're on is stupid, would you trade places with Uncle Johnny? Is he in perfect condition, perfect mindset? So think about that. Protect your health bubble to protect you from obesogenic sources, right? Denise and her friend, right? They were in their little health bubble. They weren't consciously protecting themselves, but they were in their little health bubble, enjoying each other's fellowship, and yet protecting themselves. You need one win to break the code. One win. Okay. Sometimes it's just getting to Pilates. Sometimes it's just denying yourself that immediate gratification. Whatever it is, one win breaks the code. Now, I'm not saying one win keeps you there, but it gets you in. It gets you in the door. It breaks the code. People can only sabotage myself. People can only sabotage my health goals if I let them. So the stronger that you get, the more that people won't be able to affect you, won't be able to sabotage you. Have purpose, not mindless. It should say have purposeful, not mindless snacks. Okay, if you're hungry, you know you can have a snack. So make it purposeful. Remove negative internal dialogue in your mind. I'm not good enough. How come I can't do this? Oh my goodness, I failed again at this. I'm never going to be able to. I'm just not like that other person that just has control over all aspects of their life. That's negative internal dialogue. Okay. If you need to write it down, to switch it around, to flip the script, do it. Remove key triggers. Almonds. Suzette has referred to this before. Almonds. Suzette, I think somebody raised their hand and I can't see the chat. So if you need me to pause or answer something, but nuts are hard to stop at 10. So, what if you're in maintenance, it's not gonna be as, matter as much, but if you're on the 5-in-1, it certainly is. Bring a healthy salad to a meeting. If you know your meetings are full of deliciousness that you just have a hard time denying yourself, you bring something that you know you can have. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Don't we say that to our teenagers? And how you act is what you attract. So think about that, because that could go into many, many different directions. Okay, so habit of health number 6, habits of healthy surroundings. You may have tried to improve some of these habits in the past with limited success. You may be doing some of them really great, right? You may be decreasing your calories and staying perfectly on the 5-in-1, but you haven't gotten into any healthy motion. You may be in great healthy motion, but you live on about 4 hours of sleep every night, right? So that's what I'm talking about. You may be doing some of them really great, but great news, it's a process, you guys. It's a process like anything else. And with some ambition, some guidance, and hard work, you will conquer all of them. Okay? So remember, you guys, things like, eating one cheeseburger didn't kill you, right? It didn't, the body has the ability to handle a few bad choices. But if it's a bad choice daily, day in, day out, the negative results, are going to start being obvious. They're not going to be obvious right away, right? You could eat a week long of cheeseburgers, and the negative results, cardiac results, yeah, you're going to feel like terrible, but the cardiac results aren't going to be obvious right away, right? But by the same token, choosing a healthy vegetable one time for lunch or going to the gym twice a month, won't create a noticeable improvement either. So we have to remember that. We have to remember it's not about immediate gratification, you guys. It's about the next breakthrough. What is my next breakthrough? Where did I have breakthrough this week? Where do I need to improve this week? I mean, think about that stuff. Don't beat yourself up constantly. Don't focus on what you didn't do well. Focus on what you did do well and what you can improve. And then remember, when something becomes a habit, we no longer have to rely on sheer willpower. And it's okay to be a glow stick. Sometimes we have to break before we shine, right? So let me end with these last thoughts. On average, a habit, man, I can't speak, haven't had enough coffee. A habit takes 66 days 66, guys. You'll hear 3 weeks. I got a habit. 66 days to become an unconscious part of your routine, right? In a flood, every drop of water matters, but you probably don't think much of a single raindrop, right? And remember, those small daily habits of health, those little raindrops produce life-lasting rewards. Okay, so let's see where we can. I'm going to stop share here and get back on my full screen. And did somebody raise their hand with a question? Because
yes, Brianna has her hand up.
Who does?
Brianna.
Okay, Brianna. Oh, I see you. Yes. Hey, Brianna, what can I answer?
Well, actually, no, I was just raising my hand when you were talking about something. You said you can raise your hand if you have felt this in the past. I raised my hand because I was with you on that one.
Got you. Does anybody have any questions or any comments about the 6 habits of health? I know, think about this, but maybe somebody can share, okay, the habit of adequate hydration and that kind of stuff. What do you do to get that hydration in? Or maybe the habit of health of good sleep, adequate sleep. Do any of you have a routine before you go to bed at night that could maybe potentially help someone else on here, that has helped you as you've progressed on the 5-in-1? We have 34 people on here. So being a teacher, I'm just telling you, doesn't make me uncomfortable to wait. So I'll just wait for somebody to offer something.
Well, Lauren, I'll say something on the habits of health number 6 about your surroundings. And yes, you talked about the package of nuts, removing key triggers. I had one as well. And to this day, and it's been almost 9 years, I don't bring it into the house. And that was potato chips. Yes, I like the nuts and, peanut butter, things like that. But when the chips were in the house, some of us will read the label and it says 13 chips is a serving. Okay, I would try that and have a little bowl of 13 chips. And my mind was always on, well, there's a whole bag in there, because I would sit with the bag and eat until I was happy, So I don't bring them in the house. And I had children at home at the time. I mean, mine are all grown now. And I've heard some people say, well, I have to buy food for my kids. That's true. But that food doesn't have to be the things that are going to make you fall off the wagon or not be successful. There's other alternatives. Start introducing those healthy snacks to your children. It doesn't have to be, okay, we're not buying any snacks ever. All we're buying is a bag of carrots and some celery for our kids. That's not what I'm talking about. But take that one thing that always tempts you and no longer bring that into the house for the snacks for your kids. Find an alternative. So that helped me.
Yeah, that's really good, Suzette, because you made a couple of good points there. Don't bring something in that triggers you. But the other point that you made, truly, those of you on here that have younger kids, I'm not trying to guilt you. I'm just saying this, but we are responsible for helping mold, their health habits, right? I think if you have younger kids on here, you would agree with that, because if we just allow them continuous immediate gratification, that is going to carry right over into and cycle into their adult life. I mean, if you asked any of my kids and they came home from school, or they're like, hey, can we have ice cream? My first question was always, well, what did you eat at school today? Did you have anything sweet at school today? Yes, I had a brownie at lunch. Well, then let's not have the ice cream right now. Let's have an apple. Let's have some, whatever. But just being conscious of that and helping them to develop habits that you as an adult have had to break and re-break and attempt to develop, because nobody helped you do that when you were younger, right? We teach our kids everything else. Why don't we help teach them about healthy nutrition?
And if your
So-
kids are grown, it's not too late because you can still model those
Nice.
new choices now and, bring them along with you. And if they're not to the point that they're ready to make those changes, they're going to see it in you. So don't beat yourself up. If you have grown children and these habits have not formed when they were younger, today's a new day. Start that now. Let them see that you are changing the way that you are eating and living, because eventually they are going to want to make some changes themselves.
Somebody wrote in the chat, my favorite, don't take advice from anyone you wouldn't switch places with. Right? Yeah, we hear that, and we hear that a lot on our coach trainings. Just because, think about that. Why do we sit and listen to advice from someone that obviously has no idea what we're trying to accomplish because they're not modeling it? Right? Why do we sit and take it? That could be a lot more than just food. So I'll just leave it there. Don't get me on my soapbox because I could talk for a while.
Can
How
I
about
say
somebody
something?
else? Yeah, Denise.
Two things. I love nuts of all kinds, and I definitely love my almonds, and I keep a Ziploc bag in my glove compartment. So when I'm hungry, but I keep them in little snack size ones with just 5 in each bag so that I don't have a handful that I can pick up. I can just open that while I'm at a stoplight, get my 5 and eat them, and I'm fine. Another thing about the lean and green meals, I have 2 clients. It's a married couple, and I loved what they said. Their names are Alex and Vanessa. I don't think they're on this morning, but they said that they are so enjoying making these lean and green meals because they've always not eaten well, and they've always allowed, all kinds of crazy snacks in their home and unhealthy snacks. But they said, we want to model for our young kids right now this change and this healthy way of eating. And she said, we're not making them anything other than the lean and green. That's what they're eating, and the whole family's eating that way. And they feel so good that not only they're both losing weight and doing well on the program, but they feel like they're doing such a great thing for their children and teaching them from a young age. They're both under 10, that this is what we do now. This is exactly the way that we eat. So that's a victory, big time.
Yeah, I used to get harassed a lot when my kids were little. My little Southern friend, Michelle, would always say, yeah, I'll come over to Aunt Michelle's house and I'll give you a chocolate chip cookie. I know your mama never makes anything good for you. I'm like, go over to Aunt Michelle. She'll give you one. And I'm not saying you can never make cookies for your kids. Don't take it out of context. Okay. Anybody else? Does anybody have any sleep related? I think that's where a lot of people diminish the importance of adequate sleep. And you really do need adequate sleep.
Oh, I've
Anybody
got
have-
that part down.
Well, we know you go to bed she goes to bed like the elderly.
I do.
No.
9:30, quarter till 10. No reason to be staying up past that.
Even if we're out. Suzette's got to go. It's bedtime. But yeah, no, but I'm talking about like any routine maybe that you do. I'm a bad scroller. I'll scroll at night. Okay, that's not a good habit. I'm trying to break that habit and read. Trying to get on my, phone, my Kindle on my phone and read a book, something that's gonna, give you those thoughts before you go to sleep. Anybody have anything? Meditation music, maybe?
I have at least 50 years of history of less than 5 hours of sleep a day. So I've lived a couple of years longer than you guys.
I don't know about that, Jimmy, but and I think that's okay temporarily, but I do think adequate sleep is, your body has learned to function on that for sure.
Well, it's definitely better. It's just, so like you've been a nurse, you got a hazard job as an airline pilot, that's a hazard of my job.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but I bet your quality's better. The quality of your sleep.
Yes. Yeah, when I go to sleep, I sleep. There's no doubt about it.
That's good. Yeah. I know my husband puts on big old the big old headphones and like, what are you listening to? Classical music or something, that's how he goes to sleep. As I'm scrolling my Facebook because I'm so much deeper than him. Not really, I'm joking. His sister's on here, she knows. That was a compliment to my husband, if you didn't take it that way. So, all right, anybody else? I guess we need to get off.
Hey,
of here.
Lauren,
Yes.
it was me.
Oh, hey, Laura. That is my sister-in-law.
Hi. Yeah, so that was fantastic, Lauren. Didn't think I was going to make it today, but it rained here, so I'm inside not farming. Yeah, so one thing I've done for a long time, I do go to bed very early, 9:30, 10 o'clock. As soon as I put my kiddos to bed, I head to bed, but I usually try to stretch for about 5 minutes to some real calm music before I get into bed, and I sleep deep and long. I mean, get up early, but that's kind of farming life. But I get those hours in because I go to bed early. I started it with my children were little, and I just still do it.
Yep.
I was taking care of my nieces and nephews a couple of weekends ago, and they went home and told their mom, they all go to bed at like 10 o'clock. So what we do, we go to bed early and we get up early. We got things to do outside. So it helps just to kind of stretch and listen to some quiet music and then shut the day off and be ready for a good sleep.
Yeah, that's a great habit. Stretch. Not only are you getting motion in there, but you're calming. Everything's kind of physiologically slowing down. And I might add, she has 11 children. So there you go. I'd probably put them to bed at 7 o'clock. All of you go to bed. All right, guys. Well,